Hi there, and welcome to episode 26 of the OGV Energy Let's Talk Transition podcast. I'm Murray Melhuish, one of the principal consultants at ANIC Consulting. If you want to grow your business in the energy transition and you'd like some support, get in touch and let's find out how we can help. Now, on Let's Talk Transition, we set out to meet the people truly leading and innovating in the energy transition. And today's episode is another great example of that. So in the industry, we're all familiar with the remotely operated vehicles, which are used for everything from seabed surveys and unexploded ordnance removal to supporting the installation of structures and cables. We've seen that increasingly evolve into autonomous underwater vehicles, which play their role too, as they survey large areas subsea, as we touched on, of course, in the last episode. Now, today we're going to meet a different kind of technology specialist. And they're not just experts in ROVs and AUVs, but they're increasingly bringing their USV, unmanned surface vehicle technologies, and artificial intelligence to the survey market. Now, my guest today's had a varied career, which has seen him responsible for subsea production equipment for oil and gas, subsea controls, cables, reels, and hammers, before becoming Group Chief Operating Officer in February 2022. Welcome to the show, Martin Charles of Unique Group.
Hi, Murray. Delighted to be part of the podcast here today.
Great. Martin, can you just give us an overview of yourself and the company and your responsibilities, please?
Okay, so Martin Charles, I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Unique Group. I'm based out in UAE in our head office in Sharjah. I moved from Aberdeen April 2023 once I restructured some of our UK operations and our Netherlands operation, predominantly around operational excellence and preparing our businesses there for growth. Moved out to the HQ here. Large part of our team is here. All our lines of business are here. I'm responsible for the global execution of our service and rental projects, which includes 4 distinct lines of business, which is our survey business, our USV business, which is our autonomous vessels, our buoyancy and water weights, and the lifting and mooring services.
Great. So you mentioned there that the business is headquartered in the UAE, and it's got operations in the Netherlands and in Aberdeen. It's got quite a global footprint, doesn't it?
Yes, we've got a global footprint now we've evolved effectively since 2000 in the global arena. We've now got over 620 staff across 5 regions and 18 sales and operations facilities across the globe. We've got 3 manufacturing sites. 2 of these are in the diving space, one in Cape Town, one in Sharjah, UAE, predominantly focused on SAT and air dive systems, but also now the growing hyperbaric oxygen therapy chambers for the leisure, medical and sports use. Our other manufacturing plant is in Isle of Wight, specifically for design and manufacture of soft fabric, buoyancy and water weights bags. Our sales and rental offices are strategically located across the 5 regions globally. All the hotspots you'd expect are Houston, Singapore, Perth, Western Australia, India, Middle East, and of course UK and Europe. We've also brought our lifting and mooring business into play in 2023. We just recently opened up our new facility, 2,000 square meter facility in Saudi. To bring this to the markets, and from there that will be the springboard and catalyst to take that globally. And of course, 2023 was quite a significant milestone for Unique Group. We achieved 30 years in business, so we had some celebrations with our staff and with customers alike throughout the year.
Wow, so there's really quite a footprint there. Was it 18 facilities and 630 staff?
Yes, just over 620 staff right now, projected to be around about 650 by the end of this year.
Very good. And, obviously you're based in the Middle East and, and these other strategic locations as well. What sort of footprint do you have in the renewable energy sector?
All our locations actually are heavily involved in renewables in some form across all our lines of business. Interestingly, we've got quite a diverse customer marketplace. Traditional infrastructure developments, so offshore wind, environmental monitoring, civil defence, etc. Currently, about 30 to 40% of our business is derived from renewables and environmental markets, as you'd add, across our global markets.
So 30 to 40% of your business is, renewables and environmental. And how's that grown over the last few years?
It's grown quite significantly, certainly UK, Europe, and Asia Pacific. We are forecasting growth into other regions in the near future as well, Americas for one, and other expanded parts of Asia and probably into Australia as well. So, it's been quite a path and journey for us as we migrate our subsea technologies, skills, experiences around civils, around defence, around oil and gas, and move it into that environmental and offshore renewable space.
Okay, interesting. And of course, with every footprint comes, a carbon footprint. Martin, how important is sustainability for Unique Group?
Yeah, I mean the addition of the autonomous vessels in our fleet is predominantly aimed at driving improvements in the carbon footprint and other environmental aspects and less risk of personnel in the field, etc. COVID was a very good example to demonstrate and highlight that aspect. But we are committed to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which includes sustainability from procurement, logistics, energy, wastewater uses, etc. We have actually signed up to 4 of the goals and objectives through the UN SDGs, health and well-being, reducing inequalities, practice responsible consumption and production, and reducing carbon footprint as all areas that we've signed up to and measure and drive our performance around that aspect.
Right, and how easy is it to measure these things so that you can then take action?
Once you've got the standards and formats and templates in place, it's relatively easy. But of course, when you start that journey, it's a step change in our business, culture, our staff, until we settle down and identify, what our baseline is, and then move things forward from there. But that's a routine part of our business now.
Great. And would you have any advice for other business owners who are looking to implement the same goals?
Well, it's quite interesting. Until I joined Unique, I never even heard of such a thing around United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And it was, rather encouraging and exciting. I liked when I joined the business here and, identified and was made aware of the targets and goals. And, I think it's something that is really attainable. I talk about making things real for people a lot in our business. And these actually do make things real. We in fact, a week tomorrow, I'm actually going out to one of the mangroves with the team to plant more foliage and greenery, etc. And it's all part of that same, development program and sustainability, etc. So we engage. We're taking 30 of our staff with us all day on the Friday, out into the mangroves, kayaking across the various areas which are not so easy to get to, and planting more foliage, etc. So a bit of fun as well, engaging our staff. And of course, it develops our goals and objectives in the business.
Yeah, it sounds like great team building too. It sounds like that will be fun indeed. And Martin, there you mentioned, autonomy. I'm really eager to find out a little bit more about the innovation that you're bringing to the offshore energy market. Can you give us an overview?
Yeah, so we call the USVs our unmanned surface vessels, as opposed to vehicles, because that gives other connotations, of course, in the modern world we're in. We have designed our Uni fleet is designed through Unique, offers versatile survey capabilities across a wide range of maritime environments, spanning from obviously very shallow waters to much deeper water as well, as a comprehensive survey solution. So the USV effectively is the mechanism for taking our survey equipment to the market in a non-traditional way, if you like.
And are these being used as standalone vessels, or are they being used in conjunction with autonomous underwater vehicles?
We've been in discussion around the autonomous underwater vehicles, but we use them as standalone for shore and near shore reservoirs, lakes, canals, etc. But we can use them as a force multiplier with larger vessels in deeper water, etc. And that's where some of the discussions are going around further autonomous vehicles, etc.
Right. And are there limits in terms of sort of the weather and sea conditions that these vessels can work in?
Yeah, well, we've got three variants of vessel. We've got our Uni-Mini, small carbon fibre hull vessel. So it's obviously got limits very near shore, great for reservoirs, canals, etc. We've got our Uni-Pack unit, which extends that capability. Then we have now just brought to the market our Uni-Max, which is a 5-metre vessel, and that obviously has different sea states capabilities, etc. All with different ranges, battery life. The Uni-Max is a hybrid unit, so it can recharge its batteries in the field, etc.
Okay, great. And how long has this been in the gestation, Martin?
So we started developing. We got board approval 2018. I started developing our USVs. Took the first one to the market in 2019, which has been extremely positive for us and in front of the customers. We've been deploying that since 2019 very successfully, and all 5 regions we have in our business in Unique Group. We've got today we've got our own variant of vessel in all locations and all continents, and working extremely well. Our Uni-Pack his work has received worldwide recognition in the marketplace.
Brilliant. And how many systems do you have at the moment?
Systems right now, we've got 10 in our Uni fleet. We also have 2 direct systems, and we've got 1 seafloor system based in the US as well. Our Uni-Mini is a carbon fibre 1.6 metre with a single payload, battery of life of 4 hours. Our Uni-Pack is a catamaran style 3-metre vessel, extremely versatile and easy to operate. Battery life of about 8 hours, and our Uni-Max is that 5-metre 96-hour endurance with that hybrid powertrain, which allows us to generate power on board, recharge the batteries. So we've got a fairly extensive fleet of 10 of our own designed units that's expanded. Because we also sell as well, Amiad, so we have sold a number of these units into the marketplace, and we're looking to expand our rental pool and sell more of these units this year, as the market and the customers get more acceptance, if you like, around use of USVs.
Great. And look, Martin, I'm guessing that the benefits here are that you're reducing the number of people offshore, and you're reducing the use of these big diesel-burning survey vessels, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if I go back to our sustainable targets and carbon savings, etc., then a big drive that we see from Unique. We started this journey ourselves because we've seen the benefits, but of course the market is capturing or understanding the benefits from an environmental perspective. I mean, we're extremely busy in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in the Red Sea, with environmental monitoring systems and measuring, etc., using USVs with battery systems, etc. Are excellent. That really ties into the PSA's 2030 program and development plans and the environmental issues around that. So it fits good spots around our market and our business.
So Martin, brilliant to hear more about your autonomous surface vessels. Can you give us some examples of work scopes that you've been undertaking?
Yeah, so USVs operate continuously 24/7 operations, data collection, shorten project lead times. We can reduce the human element, physically in the field and environment, etc., etc. And we've got some good examples where we've demonstrated a step change in value in its turbine data collection business. One certainly this brings to mind is a rig entry debris survey we did at Port of Cromarty, in the Cromarty Firth, that is, using our Unipack USV. The entire scope was completed in 2 hours, with the Unipack's autonomous navigation system operating the vessel from launch to recovery. The USV saved client time and achieved the same results would have traditionally taken about 24 hours. So, a demonstration of, the value can be derived. In this case, it was the Cromarty, Firth. We've also...
that's quite a big saving in time, isn't it? So from 24 hours down to 2 hours, that would seem like a complete no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Yeah, and with a very small team of people. We mobilised with a trailer, at the quayside, and operated from the quayside, all line of sight, of course. But 2 hours job done, and went back to Aberdeen.
Brilliant. And how about the renewables industry? Have you used the USVs much in renewables that you can tell?
Yes, we've been very active in different parts of the world from a renewables perspective. In Taiwan specifically, we've been operating there for 18 months in actual fact, in renewables projects, with obviously the key client base there, with one of our partners, that's an area that's just basically fueled more opportunity in that environment. We are going to see us being very busy in the renewable space for sure. We are already in lots of dialogue. Of course, it's early stages of development from a survey perspective. So if we look at the Northeast Seaboard and the US, etc., we see that market opening up as well. So great space, great application, great asset. It can be deployed for all the reasons we've talked about: less mobilisation of personnel, faster, etc.
That's interesting, Martin, because the conditions in Taiwan can be really quite difficult. The Formosa Strait's got some incredible currents running through it, and obviously having an ocean on its doorstep, there can be quite some weather come through there. So if your autonomous surface vessels are able to operate around Taiwan, then I think that really shows that autonomy is really coming on in terms of its capability.
Yeah, I think it's a point in case, Murray, as you say, and we've had, we've done some nearshore beach landing on pipelines, in the Netherlands, 12-kilometre sections, 36-inch pipeline, extremely shallow water, perfect for our Unipack USV. Hugely successful. Customer, extremely delighted. We've done some work on round the coastline in Singapore using our Unipack, quite a nearshore topographic and bathymetry data. Such lots of applications around USV. Yes, offshore renewables and wind for sure, but that whole environmental, surveying data. We in Australia, we even go and survey reservoirs for waste from mines, etc., just to make sure that the sealant around the reservoir itself is not leaking and cause environmental issues. We periodically sort of take that application to that sector.
So Martin, with these projects that you've got with your autonomous surface vessels, where does the line sit? Are you providing a full survey, or are you just providing survey equipment?
Yeah, great question, Maury, and I think we need to be clear on that one. We provide survey equipment. We provide the asset in a USB, and we provide the survey, critical data collection, sensors, etc. So we collect data, through our applications and our equipment, but we hand that off. We're not an end-to-end player at all. We are we know the area and we play in. We're very strong in that area, and we hand off data to others in the marketplace.
Okay, so I guess that means that your sort of core customer base for this are all the major survey contractors, right?
That's correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And which markets do you see particularly embracing the technology? Is it offshore wind? Is it offshore oil and gas?
I don't think it precludes or even is focused on one area. All are using it. The environmental one, I think, has been really interesting and a significant growth. People doing, new jetties, new ports, piers, etc., and really, conscious of the sensitivity around pollution, environmental, noise issues, waste, etc. So we're doing a lot of work around that. We're obviously heavily involved in offshore wind, and of course, near-shore oil and gas pipeline poolings, cable tie-ins, etc. And of course, civil engineering, defence, etc. So all that areas are kind of real sweet spots for us, if you like. I wouldn't suggest that anyone is particularly, significantly got more growth than others. All are growing at a pace. And I think it's more to do with the realization and acceptance and take up of the technology.
Wow, the potential impact of these USVs is huge, right?
Yeah.
What's holding back adoption?
Good question. There's a number of issues in there. Legislation for one is a big issue. Trying to get some countries are very good adopters of the technology and find a path to get the regulations in place through the maritime authorities, etc. If we look at it globally, it's a real challenge. In isolation at various locations, it's easy access. It's embraced. In other areas, I would suggest even the UK. The UK right now does not have a maritime policy for USV. It's incredibly tough. And we've operated in Norway, but we can't in the UK. That's the kind of situation we find ourselves in. And other areas, as I mentioned, they're enabling us to operate in different locations.
How frustrating. And, how does it depend site to site, Martin? Are you allowed to operate in shipping lanes? Where are you allowed to operate or beyond line of sight?
Yeah, I mean, we don't, our own unique USVs currently don't have line of sight, but that's in the development plan for this year, or we expect by 2025 our Unimax will have line of sight. However, it does come with all sorts of additional, regulations and controls. And again, it's a case-by-case basis. What's the scope, where are you operating, which country, which legislation, certification, etc. And we've got degrees of success in Taiwan, for instance. However, again, if I use UK as an example, then we were precluded from that today.
That's incredible that the UK is behind Norway and Taiwan and these other countries. Is there anything being done? Because Unique can't be the only provider of USVs and the only organization with real interest in seeing it rolled out. So, is anything being done in the UK to address it?
Yeah. I mean, we've been working with our partners and trying to promote and push, obviously, governments and the maritime organisation themselves to get this over the line. So that there is progress, but it's slow progress. And we'd love to see that regulations in place so we can move the industry forward. We talk a lot about the carbon footprints and technology and innovation. Well, let's see that moving. Let's get that in place.
Absolutely, and you would think there would be lots that the UK could learn from the likes of Norway or Taiwan in terms of how they've managed this transition to unmanned surface vessels.
Yeah, of course. And I haven't mentioned Australia. We're extremely active with USVs in Australia. Who are very open to enabling new technologies, etc., into the space.
Yeah. Now, Martin, I'm keen as well to find out about the artificial intelligence that Unique's bringing to the market too. Is that specifically for the surface vessels, or is it subsea? What is it, and how is it evolving?
So, our CEO is very passionate about AI, and I've embraced that as well. And I think that's one of the real attributes of being within a Unique group. We really do, push the envelope, push boundaries into new areas. whether it's technologies, innovations, different aspects in our business, we do see AI as being a significant enabler, enhancer to business. What that means in different parts of the world, different parts of our business, etc., we're still trying to explore that. So we've taken an entry level, basis into survey, and we've created Aquila Subsea, which we believe is it's a monumental step forward, and it's our first ever generative AI chat solution, and we believe it's the first one specifically tailored for the survey industry. So we took out the market, at the end of last year. We are currently doing some beta testing right now. We've got 5 clients that we're working with, and we do see, this is a first step of the ladder into, where AI can really have an impact into subsea applications. In this case, it's, around survey applications. We've got about 10,000, lines of data in our systems, and we've got the OEM manufacturing manuals. We've got our technical support teams around the globe. We're constantly trying to support customers in live theatre in the fields, big expensive vessels, which it goes down, how do we support it, etc., what could the problem be? And we have to go and start trawling through, previous, history, etc. AI is a phenomenal tool to very quickly find that data, apply that data, and get that asset back operational in the offshore arena.
Brilliant. And is this your own AI, or are you using a bunch of different models from the industry, or how's that piece coming along?
No, it's developed in-house. We engaged with a support organization to obviously do the techie stuff behind the scenes for us, but it's very much our application and system, and it's something we will be expanding and developing on. We expect to go live the second half of this year, once we've completed beta testing, once we've worked with our customer base, and we've got huge interest. I've been a couple of parts of the world in the recent months, and everyone is really interested in our focus around this, because it's not just the application, it's how we can apply it into the subsea world and arena. And this is our first step on that ladder, and we just have got a solid pipeline of opportunities around AI that we believe we can take forward. So let's get this delivered for us this year, and then we'll continue to move that forward. It's exciting stuff.
Right. Yeah, that is exciting stuff. I've actually dealt with Unique for quite a number of years now, but I didn't realize just the level of R&D that's going on in the business. Are there any other developments we can expect to see over the coming years?
We've created the lifting and mooring division. We've just brought our first mass flow excavation jetting tool to the market. It's operating in Southeast Asia right now. We're going to build on that. We do see a space that we've already playing around cable services and offshore wind, and we want to package a lot of what we're doing right now in a fragmented approach and pull that together under one banner and deliver one-stop solution across that. We've got some real interest from our clients, in fact, been promoted by clients to go in that direction. We've got, if you look at our USVs, we've got such a list of developments in our in-house R&D program. Our radar-based collision avoidance is something we want to bring to the marketplace. Hot swappable batteries, beach launching systems, payload rafts, the lightweight carbon fiber mini we've touched on, and that over-horizon technology that we want to develop for 2025 in our uni mats. That's all evolution of our unmanned survey vessels, and then looking at artificial intelligence alongside that.
Now, as you know, Martin, I've been involved in the offshore cabling industry for a number of years as well, and I'm interested there in the talk about cable services and mass flow excavation. Is the excavator available on a sort of hire basis, or is it provided as a service? What's the model behind it?
Yeah, it's a rental-based tool. I mean, a big part of our business here is rental solutions. It's on a vessel right now in Southeast Asia, as I mentioned, with 6 of our offshore personnel working extremely well. We've been requested by other clients to develop that elsewhere, so it's obviously something that we're looking to expand upon. It's fair to say, between our R&D developments and our subsea engineering focus, and I should add to that point actually that we've got 2 strong subsea engineering teams, predominantly around diving in Cape Town and Sharjah in UAE here. But we're going to create a third hub in the UK to expand our subsea engineering capability, and we're really excited about that. Getting into structures, templates, pipeline support, back deck, marine handling equipment, etc., and underpinning that lifting, mooring, mass flow excavation services. We see that being a big opportunity and market drive for Unique going forward.
Great. So that new group, I guess they'll be based in Aberdeen. Is that the plan?
It will be the UK. We're evolving that right now. There'll probably be an announcement come out in the next 4 to 6 weeks, actually, Murray. Yeah.
There's an intriguing one. I won't pick that one too much, but I look forward to hearing some news there then. And look, Martin, I'm keen to find out a little bit more about you, as I am with all of the leaders of the energy transition. Why does the energy transition matter to you, Martin?
I mean, we are energy hungry as human beings, and we've got to make this sustainable. That's not in question. I think everyone agrees that position. I think we've got to make it real though. I use that terminology, as I mentioned, a lot. There's a lot of talk about energy transition and carbon footprint and new energy sources, etc. I think we need to move forward, at a bit more pace. You're looking at the innovation. You're looking at legislation. We talked a lot about USPs and some of the difficult challenges to try and get the technology in place. But I think one of the key ones for myself, and I know a lot of people touch on this, is the transfer of skills and competencies across our business. It's a little bit of a throwaway statement from a lot of people, and I think we've got to do better at that. I think we've got to, get people curious, committed, conscious about supporting that change, and showing them a roadmap and a path and what it could look like. We still have a very strong oil and gas energy business, and then we've got some great talent. And when people have made the transition across to renewables, but why can it not be both? Why can we not, demonstrate that path and get people committed to work across, both arenas and beyond? If I look at the subsea space, if we look at the environmental aspects, the civils, the defence, etc., there's some great opportunity to develop our people in a broader sense. Using the mantra of energy transition, if you like. I'm very passionate about transferring skills. And I'm also delighted that I've got the opportunity to enable that in Unique. I'm driving that part of my role. I'm driving that pretty hard across our business, and certainly in the UAE here. I've got 150 people in our workshops here, and they were fragmented. Now we've got a one-stop integrated team where we're utilising that resources from USVs to dive systems to buoyancy and waterways to lifting and mooring. And driving that consistency of approach, standardization, upskilling people's skills and competencies. Of course, there's a risk there because people get all that skills and they may want to sort of move on. But I don't think at all that should stop us from going in that journey and path. The motivation that I've seen in delivering that in the business in the last 6 months here in the UAE has been fantastic. And we don't have to go out now and start hiring externally. We've got some great talent that we're actually evolving and developing in-house, and they can be the next supervisors and managers in our business and innovators.
But Martin, before we started recording this episode, you mentioned that you had done an apprenticeship in Aberdeen in the northeast of Scotland. How important has that apprenticeship and, the skills and aptitudes that you learned being on the rest of your career?
Yeah, hugely. It's quite an interesting one. I probably haven't went the same kind of career path as many others. But I grew up in Macduff, a small fishing town. I had an opportunity to do my marine engineering apprenticeship, which I was really wanting to do in Macduff. But I always seen it as a wee bit too wee, if you like, for me. I wanted to get out of town. Yeah, and I wanted to get into a bigger environment. And I guess that's kind of followed me around all my career, to be honest. So I moved into Aberdeen, Hull Russell shipyard. Unfortunately, the shipyard is no longer there, but a fantastic apprenticeship. Taking new ships, from the shell, and then launching them and working in engine rooms and commissioning them and handing them over was just a joy to behold, to be perfectly honest. And then, of course, as the shipyards started to, all shipyards in the UK started to have some troubles. I moved into the oil industry like many others, and I started in the drilling industry and measurable drilling tools. Spent 5 years in many parts of the world. And then, through myself, of course, I wanted to push and promote myself further outside the comfort zone, if you like, and I went into the subsea world. And I spent, many happy times at some blue chip companies there. And then I got attracted to private equity. I moved into private equity on umbilical cable manufacturing and set up their global services division, in 4 corners of the world, which of course included a step into inter-array cables in the offshore wind market, which was hugely satisfactory. And again, it probably got me, the skill set transfer, if you like, from people with production and umbilical experience and diversifying them into high voltage power cables, fiber optic splicing, etc. And people did it. They did that. They embraced it. They did their own qualifications as well, and we gave them that path into that space. And then from there, I moved into the rental marine area and spent some time in Germany with a large hydraulic subsea pile hammer organization, state of the art, products, 650 tons in weight, very powerful, and of course, deriving monopiles for the offshore wind market, and hugely successful around that. And that brought me to Unique. I was attracted by the vision in the business, the product ranges and mix. And I think I've probably talked about USP in this podcast and the AI technologies, which just reinforces that it was the right decision for me to join Unique at the right time. Hugely excited about it, and I'm passionate about dragging and delivering opportunities for other people within the business here.
And Martin, as your career has evolved from that young apprentice in Aberdeen to to where you are today in Unique Group, what's been your philosophy of success for yourself?
I would suggest it's a great question. Delivering step change in business. Anytime I've been talking to people about opportunities, if it's just to go and sit in a seat and do ops management, general manager, MD, whatever it is, that's not really for me. It needs to be something that evolves, so it really drives business forward. I see myself as a change agent. I see myself as someone that can influence people in our business. Very focused on technology and innovation. I've touched on some of that already today. I'm a lean practitioner, driving waste out of business. I hate seeing waste. I hate seeing cost of poor quality, if you like, in our business. And that's all, close to, where I see myself being able to deliver and change in business. I don't like being in the comfort zone. It may sound a daft thing to say, but, stepping from Macduff into Aberdeen and then suddenly finding myself in the deserts of Egypt or working in Darwin in northwest or northern territories, Australia, usually was a bit of equipment step change. Living in Germany for a while, so it's all about location, role, products and services, and really just stepping out of my comfort zone. And I would probably suggest that it needs to be embraced by new talent that emerges in our industries. Don't just be comfortable and sit in the sweet spot and expect things to happen for you. Look over the horizon, get out of the comfort zone, do a podcast.
Absolutely do a podcast for sure.
I'll absolutely do a podcast. Yeah, step out of the comfort zone and push yourself because in our industry, and I'm talking about subsea and I'm talking about environmental and offshore wind and oil and gas. There's so much opportunities, and I've worked with some fantastic people who I see as mentors and very close friends now, who have been inspirational and helping me, get to deliver what I've set out to do effectively.
Very good. And Martin, in each episode we ask our guests to set a question for our next guest without knowing who they'll be. And coincidentally, in the last episode, we met with Richard Knox, who's the founder and chief executive officer at Verloom, also involved, of course, in the AUV industry, and somebody who you used to work with.
That's right. Yeah. Many years ago, I passed cost in a big blue chip organization in Aberdeen. Yeah.
There we go. Great.
So look, I'm now answering his question. Huh?
You are, absolutely. So look, Richard left this question for you. How can we ensure that the northeast of Scotland can play a leading role in the energy transition?
Yeah, we've touched a little bit on energy transition, and if you take it to the northeast, of Scotland as a region, it's an interesting one. I think there's a number of areas, issues at play. From my personal perspective, I think cost base is one, and political positioning are others. When we look at transition, but also the energy security, our supply chain costs in support of large development projects has to be managed. I've been in the industry for 25 plus years now. Difficult to believe, I know. And I've seen many cyclic boom and busts, and of course everyone cuts a cloth and sheds cost in a downturn, and then of course it's the opposite in upturn. We all know that traditionally that's how it's happened. But I think we've got to be much smarter than that. And I've heard this so many times over the years when we're on the way down. It's like we've got to be smarter. We've got to retain our supply chain. We've got to manage our costs, etc. And lo and behold, we don't really learn from it. I'd love to see take a lean approach to our pricing. Not to try and make hay when the sun shines, take a level base at business, because it's the only way we're going to secure our infrastructures, etc., in place in northeast of Scotland. I would love to see large scale manufacturing in the region. I do fear we've got some infrastructure problems, of course, and we could struggle against international markets. But it's there for us. Why not? Why can we not sort of start looking at our cost base? And I see waste. I see exceptional margins being made in upcycle, which is all very good, but that's not got a balance, and it doesn't migrate across a transition into other areas. I mean, if I look at Unique Group, we've got this kind of focus on the benefits of Make in Country program, and we've done this very successfully in United Arab Emirates. We've done it. We're starting that journey in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and we've done this in India. We've built a considerable chunk of a local content sat dive system in India, first of its kind, never been done before. It's really demonstrating our capabilities internally, but our intent to extend that into other areas. And can we deliver that in the northeast of Scotland? I think we do, of course, but can we really push that on to become a manufacturing strong region, Scotland, UK, call it what you want, then it's to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And Martin, I lived in the northeast of Scotland for a very long time as well, and to me, those boom bust cycles, they're exhausting for businesses They're exhausting for families.
Yeah.
Where everything's wonderful, then everything's terrible, then everything's wonderful, then everything's terrible. And of course, to me, apart from all the obvious benefits of the energy transition, if the northeast of Scotland can benefit from a more stable business climate as a result of longer energy prices set and predictable in the future, then actually that'll be a huge benefit to the whole of the northeast region.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, stability is absolutely crucial. And then we can start to manage our workforce. Then we can start managing our plants, our cost base, and everything that goes with that transition, carbon footprints, new technologies and innovation. It's all there. But when we've got confusion, if you like, in a marketplace in an unstable environment, then it causes challenges. And I like your analogy about the impact on families. Yeah, we've all been there with the boom and bust cycle. It's no fun.
Yeah, no fun at all.
Yeah, it's things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, Martin, ahead of recording today, I asked if you would please give us a question for our next guest. And of course, I don't know who that is, so I can't tell you who that is either. But I wouldn't anyway. So Did you get a chance to prepare a question, Martin?
Yes, so I was going to suggest something like, where do you think the first large asteroid will hit? But it probably doesn't go with the theme, of course. But not knowing who the person who's going to respond to that is. But I think talking about themes, looking at what Uniquers do and looking at our entry point in AI and just the power and opportunity around that. My question really is, how is AI going to impact energy transition and the sector as a whole?
Wow, good question. How's artificial intelligence going to impact the energy transition and the sector as a whole? Good question. Well, I certainly look forward to asking that in our next episode. So, great. Well, look, Martin, that's been a really interesting discussion. We found out a little bit more about autonomous surface vessels, autonomous underwater vessels, artificial intelligence in subsea and the energy transition. I had no idea the Unique Group had so many facilities around the world, or was actually transitioning to the extent that it's now got 30 to 40% of its business in renewable energy, which is great to see. So, look, Martin, I found that a really interesting discussion. Maybe the most interesting part, I think, is your progression from an apprentice to global chief operating officer of such an innovative business. So lots of interesting discussion points there. Thank you for that today.
Thanks very much, Murray. I really enjoyed being part of the podcast and, created a lot of thought-provoking discussions during our discussion, but also in preparation. So thanks for that.
Perfect. Thank you, Martin. And as always, feedback on today's podcast and suggestions of who we should feature in the future are most welcome. Feel free to get in touch. Most of you get in touch through LinkedIn or by email. It's Murray, that's Moray, at anatconsulting.com. And if you'd like to see or listen to some of our other episodes, they can all be found online at ogv.energy or Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. That's everything for today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.